Ladies and gentlemen, we are still trying to catch up from the previous recordings and legal breaking reportings by the independent media source, Raw Story from um, from 2 weeks ago. Still, we're almost done with the rest of the month of July. Our news story that we're on in this video, ladies and gentlemen, is titled Disaster, Terrible, Awful, Horrible. CNN's data guru declares Trump in ton of trouble. By Travis Geddes, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, the article reads, President Donald Trump's approval rating has collapsed to near historic lows, according to a new analysis, and Americans' disapproval of his handling of every major issue. The president has been trying to change the subject from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal that has ballooned this month after his Department of Justice announced the disgraced financier had killed himself while awaiting trial and had not kept a client list. CNN's Harry NTEN found the issue was a major drag on Trump's popularity. Ladies and gentlemen, I will add before we continue with the legal breaking reporting by the Raw Story that no, we do not know exactly if Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. More than likely, he did not kill himself, ladies and gentlemen. More than likely, somebody killed him while he was awaiting trial. "6 months in, the rules of political gravity absolutely apply to Donald Trump and the USS. Donald Trump has taken on a lot of water," ENTEN said. "What are we talking about? Trump's net approval rating. Look, he started off back in January at plus 6 points on the net approval rating, -3 in March, -7 in May, and now he's at a term too low at -11 points. His net approval rating has dropped nearly 20 points in the aggregate since the beginning of his presidency. The American people do not like what they are seeing, and Donald Trump's administration is in a ton of trouble at this point in the minds of the American voters. They disapprove of him on all of the issues. He's underwater on all the major issues of the day. Eaton, E-N-T-E-N added. Trump's net approval rating on all the major issues, -5 points on immigration. His best issue, he's underwater. How about the economy? That was what he was elected for, -14 points. How about foreign policy? -14 points. How about in those tariff wars? -15 points. And of course, the Epstein case, the lowest of the bunch, -37 points, 57 points below water. My goodness gracious, on every single issue, Donald Trump is below water on all the major ones. They're all dragging him down, no matter, it seems, what Donald Trump does. The American people do not like it. Second-term Trump is giving first-term Trump a run for his money in terms of unpopularity. Eaton, E-N-T-E-N added. I do have one piece of good news for Donald Trump, and that there is one other presidency that has a lower net approval rating at this point than this one. Eaton said that, the bad news is that it was Donald Trump's other presidency. His first presidency, net approval rating 6 months in. The worst was in 2017. Donald Trump was 16 points underwater. The second worst, however, is this Donald Trump's presidency. 11 points underwater. The average presidency at this point since 1953 has a plus 27 net approval rating. It seems to me that Donald Trump is about 40 points lower than the average president at this particular point. Eaton, E-N-T-E-N added, he has the second worst net approval rating at this point. He is underwater on all the major issues of the day. The bottom line is 6 months into this administration, I think that most Americans would apply the word or words disaster, terrible, awful, horrible. I think that is the way that the American people would see it at this particular point. He is so far below underwater compared to the average president. The only one he beats out is him in his term, is him in term number 1. I don't think that's exactly the metric he wants to be applying to himself.